Professor, I feel like I'm doing everything right. I have the job, the salary, the apartment, but I'm just hollow. Every day feels like I'm just getting through it. Is this all there is?
That feeling, Maya, is a profound signal. It's the source of much unhappiness for many people. It comes from a lack of connection to who you are and what makes you unique.
What, I'm unique? I feel like a cog in a machine.
You possess a kind of inner force that seeks to guide you toward your life's task, what you are meant to accomplish. In childhood, this force is clear. It directs you toward activities that spark a deep, primal curiosity. But as we grow, we listen more to others, to anxieties, and that force fades. The first move toward mastery and happiness is always inward, to reconnect with that innate force. Let me tell you about a man who, perhaps more than any other, followed this force, even when it led him down strange and difficult paths. Leonardo da Vinci. As he lay on his deathbed, he would have reflected on the improbable course of his life. Born illegitimate, he couldn't attend a university or practice a noble profession. He was left to himself, and his inner force drew him to wander the forests, sketching everything he saw with a stunning intensity. He didn't just imitate, he observed. In sketching an iris, he wondered what force pushed it through its stages to become a magnificent flower. This question became an obsession. Later, as an apprentice, he was asked to paint a simple angel, but his force compelled him to make it his own. He painted real flowers he'd studied, not generic ones. He studied faces in prayer to capture a sublime mood. He dissected birds to understand how to paint realistic wings, which sparked a lifelong obsession with human flight. One idea always flowed into another. He was later snubbed by the Pope, excluded from decorating the Sistine Chapel. This bitterness could have broken him, but it guided him away from the court politics of Florence. He moved to Milan and devised a new way to live, not just as an artist, but as an engineer, an architect, an advisor, a master of many fields, allowing his mind to make connections between them. He took on projects of impossible scale, like the giant Sforza horse statue. Though it was never cast in bronze, he regretted nothing. He said it was the search and process in creating something that had always excited him. Reflecting on it all, he would have seen a clear pattern. His illegitimacy was a blessing in disguise. It allowed him to develop in his own way. Had he fought this force, had he become just a painter to make a good living, he would not have been Leonardo da Vinci. His inner force, like that within the iris, had led to the full flowering of his capacities. He could die at peace, knowing, as he himself wrote, "Just as a well-filled day brings blessed sleep, so a well-employed life brings a blessed death."
That's an incredible story, but Professor, he was a genius, a once-in-a-universe phenomenon. I'm just me. How can I possibly relate to that?
The principle is universal, Maya, not the scale. Many great masters felt this guiding presence. Napoleon had his star, Socrates his daemon, a voice that told him what to avoid. Einstein spoke of an inner voice. These aren't mystical delusions. They are manifestations of a deep psychological reality.
A reality? What reality?
That all of us are born unique. It's written in our DNA. This uniqueness expresses itself as primal inclinations in childhood. Your task is not to be Leonardo, but to be fully Maya. The philosopher José Ortega y Gasset described it beautifully. He said, "Among his various possible beings, each man always finds one which is his genuine and authentic being. The voice which calls him to that authentic being is what we call vocation. But the majority of men devote themselves to silencing that voice, and they defraud themselves by substituting for their genuine selves a false course of life. Your work is not to become a genius, but to stop defrauding yourself.
A false course of life. That hits close to home. Professor Finch said the first step is inward, to search the past. When I was a kid, before all the pressure to get into a good school and find a stable career, what did I love? I wasn't drawing like Leonardo, but I remember my Lego sets. I wouldn't just build the model on the box, I'd build it, then take it apart and use the pieces to create complex little machines, pulley systems, entire cities with their own internal logic. I loved seeing how all the pieces fit together to create a functioning system. And in high school, I was on the debate team. Not because I loved arguing, but because I loved deconstructing an opponent's argument, finding the flawed premise, the weak link, and building a more logical, robust case. It was all about systems, patterns, and structure. Where did that go? I work in finance now. I follow a system, yes, but I don't create it. I don't innovate. I just execute. I silenced that voice for a long, long time.
At your birth, a seed is planted. That seed is your uniqueness. It has a natural, assertive energy. This is your inner force. It pushes you to grow, to express yourself. But it meets an opposing force, the social pressure to conform. The voices of parents, peers, and society urge you to fit in, to follow a safe path. They can be so powerful that they smother the seed. You lose contact with who you are. This leads to a dangerous path, a career that doesn't suit you, where your interest wanes and you fall behind. You must, at all costs, avoid this fate. Your task is to clear away the noise and let that seed grow.
I've been thinking about what I used to love as a child, building systems, solving complex structural problems. It feels so disconnected from my current job in finance.
Excellent. That's the first stage. Now for the second, you must change how you see work. We tend to create a separation. Work is for money, life is for pleasure. This is a tragic waste. Instead, see your work as a vocation. The word comes from the Latin vocare, meaning to call. It's not a call from a god, but from deep within you, from your uniqueness. It's calling you toward work that is connected to who you are.
So I should quit my job and become an engineer?
Not necessarily. That brings us to the third stage. You must see your career as a journey, with twists and turns, not a straight line. Think of it this way. Most people imagine a career as a single straight line from A to B. But that's not how a true vocation works. Your journey is more organic. You begin by choosing a field that roughly corresponds to your inclinations. This is your starting point. From there, you learn essential skills. As you move along this path, you'll notice side routes that attract you, while other parts of your field leave you cold. You adjust. You maneuver. You take what you do for others and, like Leonardo, you make it your own. You continue learning, always expanding your skill base. Eventually, you will hit upon a particular field, a niche, or an opportunity that suits you perfectly. You'll recognize it because it will spark that childlike sense of wonder again. That is where you will find your mastery and your power.
It's been 6 months, Professor. I didn't quit, but I followed that winding path. I realized our firm was using terribly inefficient data management systems. It was a structural problem nobody wanted to touch. It sparked that old feeling in me, the Lego challenge. I spent my own time designing a new workflow, a new system. I presented it to my director. They were shocked.
And now?
Now I'm leading a small team to implement it company-wide. It's still finance, but it's also engineering, logic, and creativity. I'm building something. For the first time in years, I'm not just enduring my days, I'm excited by them. I found my niche.
You see, this is not just a poetic idea. It is intensely practical for the world we live in. We must develop ourselves, our unique skills. By finding your purpose, you not only save yourself from an empty life, you contribute to the diversity and strength of our culture. The ancient Greek poet Pindar wrote some 2,600 years ago, "Become who you are by learning who you are." You have begun that journey, Maya. You are learning who you are, and in doing so, you are becoming her.